Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another session. Today, the 25th of May 2024. How are you doing? I hope we are all doing amazing. I hope we are all doing very well. If you can hear me, I would like to see some thumbs up so I know that my sound is audible enough. Please, if you can hear me, do give me a like or a comment so I can know that I'm being heard. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope we're all doing great. I hope we're all doing amazing. It's been a while since we were last live, but I hope that we are going to enjoy this session together. Today, we'll be looking at external gratification versus authenticity. So, what is authenticity? What is external gratification or external validation? Why do people seek external validation? And how can we try to combat that in this world which is so busy, in this world which we are constantly bombarded, be it by friends on social media, be it by influencers, by politicians, and everything? How can we kind of find a suitable spot where we can shield ourselves from all this bombardment, from all this external fight that the world is throwing at us? So, welcome. If you're joining me for the first time, I'm Annabelle Lola. I am founder of Bezzatelli, which is a sportswear brand. Sorry, just a little bit distracted there. I'm founder of Bezzatelli, which is a sportswear brand that I started in order to encourage women to be fit, healthy, and confident. So, if you're joining me and you want to start your fitness journey, you're looking for the perfect gear to start that journey, do not hesitate to check out our website. We are constantly undergoing a little bit of rebranding. We're trying to make things a little bit better than it was before, but would like to hear from you. Would like your opinion. If you've bought gear from us, would like your feedback. Would like your feedback on how to improve our website and a lot more. So please do reach out to us, and we truly appreciate everything that you're doing for us. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're joining me again for the first time, I am a mom, I am a wife, and I am very passionate about helping women to find their purpose and live accomplished lives. I am also very passionate about working with young people. I volunteer in different areas with young people. So if you have a young person whom you're struggling with and you think that they might need some help, do not hesitate to reach out to myself. So, great evening once more. Today, we are looking at external gratification versus authenticity. What is external gratification and what is authenticity in this world that we are constantly not even sure ourselves of what is true for us? Who is our authentic self? And why do so many people seek gratification from elsewhere rather than from themselves, rather than from their inner self? That's going to be our topic today. I would like to hear your opinion about this topic. What do you think? Are you someone who's constantly seeking gratification from others externally? Are you constantly seeking people to appreciate you? Or are you that person who affirms who you are? You believe in yourself, you trust who you are. So, when we talk about authenticity, really, what do we mean? Authenticity is simply being vulnerable, accepting that genuine person that you are. It's about you having that intimacy with yourself and knowing that I trust myself enough. I know myself. I know what my strengths are. I know what my feelings are, and I affirm them. It's about being true to yourself. It's about respecting yourself. It's about understanding people's boundaries. It's about being that person that people can trust. People can count on you even when you're not in the room because they know exactly who you are. And external gratification is You constantly seeking for approval, constantly seeking for validation, waiting that other people except yourself would appreciate you for what you're doing. Other people's opinions matter to you more than your own opinion. You recognize what others say more than you, and you want them to constantly appreciate you. You want them to approve of what you're wearing. You want them to say that you're looking beautiful. And you're not even sure about what your beliefs are. And most people who seek external gratification, they struggle with their personality, they struggle with self-acceptance, because they're always in that phase: if I do this, will people like me? They're always thinking about what people will think rather than how they themselves feel or what they themselves think. So they're very unsure of them about themselves, because they constantly seek that approval. They constantly want people to say, "Oh, you're doing great," rather than they themselves actually knowing that I may not be doing very well, but I can improve on this if I work harder. So that's a little bit what we're covering today, and we'll be looking at how external gratification impacts our relationship with others. And then in this environment where we are constantly on social media and everybody wants a like on their post, everybody wants a comment on their post, how is it affecting and impacting us? And then we would end this evening by looking at how we can, what are those steps that we can take in order to cultivate self acceptance. So if you're here, I would like to see a thumbs up, I would like to see a comment, I would like to see a little bit of interaction in the comment section, so that I know that we are flowing together. So, how does external gratification impact our relationships? The first thing is that when you're constantly relying on people to approve of you, you lack self-confidence. You constantly doubting yourself. You feel like, I'm not enough, I'm not good, I'm not worthy. Like, you don't even believe that anything that you do is good. And this strains your relationship with people, because you're constantly expecting them to approve of you, or constantly expecting people to appreciate something you're wearing, to appreciate your new hairstyle. And when they don't do so, you get really offended. For some people, in some marriages, you see they have strained relationships with their partners, because they constantly want their partner to appreciate them. Oh, the dress you're wearing today is beautiful, your hairdo is beautiful. And when the partner is unable to kind of do this constantly, for some women, even if they go to the if they cook a new meal and their partner doesn't appreciate, they feel offended, because they constantly seek that appraisal. They want you to say thank you. They want you to say it's beautiful, it's lovely, it tastes good. And I'm not in any way saying that people shouldn't appreciate their partners, but I'm saying you should be, you as an individual, you should be able to affirm yourself. You should be able to know that I have this new hairstyle and I know it's beautiful because it suits me. I have this new dress, I know it's beautiful because it fits nicely on me. You don't have to wait until someone else approves of it before you're happy. Like, someone's approval shouldn't be the reason why you're happy. You should be happy even before someone actually approves of it. Then we can also see that, like, some people who wear designers, they don't usually wear those designers because they really want them or because they can afford them. It's because they want approval from people. They want people to appreciate them. They want that when they wear it, everyone's looking at them and saying, oh, she's wearing the latest designer shoes, she's wearing the latest this. And they just feel happy, they just feel excited when people say so, or when people actually approve or comment on their stuff. So we are live. Great. Another thing is when people seek external validation a lot, it makes them have very superficial relationships. You can't really have true and trustworthy relationships if you're constantly waiting for the other person in the relationship to tell you that what you're doing is great, or to approve of you, to like to tell you, to always appreciate you. It's great to appreciate people. It's great to appreciate people. It's great to comment on people's things. But if you're constantly living in that sphere where you want to always have the appreciation and you feel bad if you're not appreciated, then there is an issue. So, if you want to have better relationships, you want to live a happy life, you have to affirm yourself. You have to love yourself as you are and accept yourself as you are, so that you don't feel offended if Mr. A or Madam A doesn't actually kind of like your outfit. Now, the next thing is that people would, when they seek external gratification a lot, they constantly get into trouble with others. They're always in conflict with people. And you'd see that they start withdrawing from people. They start having these negative thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. No one wants me. No one likes me. And then they start losing motivation for things that they would have done effortlessly before. You see that if you're in that sphere where you constantly want people to appreciate you, it'll be very difficult for you to have lasting relationships, because everyone knows that once they come close to you and they're not able to meet up with your demands, the friendship is bound to break at some point. So everyone just wants to stay away from you. No one wants that nagging friend, or that friend who is constantly, does my dress look nice? Do my new pair of glasses look nice? I got this earring from this new shop. It's very expensive. It's branded. Is this? Is that? Like, if you're always living in that sphere, you find that people want to stay away from you. So you have very limited friends. Sometimes you might associate with some people that actually wear those same type of outfits, or actually purchase from those shops like yourself, but you realize that in the long run, those are not friends that you can count on. In time of needs, most of those friends are usually not there. So it's very, very important that when we are getting into relationships, when we are building friendships, we already know who we are. We already understand the other person's personality, know what they like, what they don't like. Constantly appreciating them is great, but if you are that person who would always want that, if I'm not appreciated, it means that this person is not my friend, then there is an issue. So, authenticity means allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It's being genuine. Like, I just want to be free. I want to feel free. I want people to see me for who I am. I want people to love me for who I am. I want people to associate with me because they feel like I am that person that they want to associate with, not because they can gain something from me, but because they feel like we can connect or we resonate in one way or the other. And you realize that most times people who are authentic, they have more emotionally fulfilling relationships, because they're naturally like they're content with themselves. They don't fear judgment. They don't fear that people would not appreciate them. They don't fear that people will not love them. They know who they are and they affirm themselves. They know their weaknesses and then they work on their weaknesses to improve them on a daily basis. They don't necessarily wait that someone tells them that you're great at this. They already know because they know who they are. When you tell them, it's just a plus, and then encourages them to work more on that strength. But they are not waiting that you tell them or you appreciate them all the time. So authenticity here is about you affirming who you are. It's about you living your true personality. It's about you being honest to yourself, you being self-aware. Like, I know myself, I know what my emotions are telling me, I can control myself. And this will have a positive impact on your emotional well-being, because if you're constantly looking for people to tell you you're doing great, you're beautiful, your dress is beautiful, it's very difficult to keep relationships that way. The second thing, when you're an authentic person, it helps you set boundaries. Like, when you set boundaries and you respect those boundaries with people, it enhances trust. Authentic people have better relationships because they set boundaries. Once they set those boundaries and they're able to respect and reciprocate what they're receiving from other people, it makes them have better relationships and better at, at reaching out, better at understanding why people do the things that they do. Authenticity also gives us a sense of purpose. Living, when you're an authentic person, when you naturally align with yourself, it gives you clarity about what you want to achieve. It gives you that sense of fulfillment because you're more goal oriented. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you get satisfaction from working out what you want, because you already know that I don't necessarily need someone to affirm me. I don't need someone to constantly tell me that this is the right thing to do. You already know, because you know your purpose, you know who you are, you know what you're living, you know what your feelings are when you do what you're supposed to be doing. So you don't kind of wait for validation from other people. It also leads to self acceptance. When you're an authentic person, you accept yourself the way you are, you embrace yourself, you embrace your weaknesses, you embrace your true self, and you're vulnerable to people. You make them understand that as much as I know what my strengths are, as much as I know who I am, I also have my weaknesses, I have my flaws, I have my vulnerabilities. But it doesn't make you lose self-esteem in yourself, because you actually know yourself and you affirm yourself. So it gives you that self-acceptance. It makes you know you're full. It makes you be full of yourself, as some people say. Though you're full of yourself, you still know that there is room for more improvement. Authenticity also helps us reduce stress and anxiety, because this allows you to express your thoughts. You're not only living a life where you want people around you, you're living a life where you want true people around you. You don't only want people that will always appreciate you, even if you're not doing the right thing, but you want people that will give you positive feedback, people that will give you feedback to make you improve, people that will give you feedback that will make you push yourself. It will encourage you to go forward. It will encourage you to go further. And it also helps us build our emotional resilience. Authenticity empowers individuals to cope with life's challenges. How am I doing in this area of my life, in my emotional life, in my finances, in my academics? How am I doing? When you look at all those areas of your life, and then you're being true to yourself, you realize that in my academics I'm not doing very well. Who can help me? In my business I'm not doing very well. Who is the mentor that can help me? Or who's the person that has gone the way that I can easily turn to, that I can easily look up to? Or even in my finances, do I need a financial advisor? Do I need to go to a bank maybe to borrow some money? What are those things that I need to do? You have to be true to yourself. Unlike someone who's seeking external gratification, they just want, because they so much believe that they're so full of themselves, they don't want to accept, like, people who seek external gratification. They're constantly living in that self denial phase. They do not want to accept that I'm struggling in these areas of my life and I need help. They just want to believe that I can do all things by myself, and everyone needs to be able to appreciate me because they see that I am the best. Like they always want to believe that they are the best in the field or the best in the class. They don't want to think that I actually need someone to actually help me out. So authenticity also helps us build improved communications because when you're authentic, when you're true to yourself, you realize that you don't need to talk too much to pass out your information. And when you're also true to yourself, you kind of give people that opportunity to talk. You give people that listening ear that they need. But if you're constantly the one, oh, you want the table to always come around you, you want to always have all the praises, you want to always have the final say, you want to always be the person that is giving and never receiving, it makes it very hard for you to build relationships. And as we all know, communication is one of the keys to building solid relationships. Please, if you're joining us, make sure you give us a like and you share so that we get more people to listen to our live today. So as I was saying, when we build communication, it helps us build more solid and more trustworthy relationships. And if you want to communicate with someone, it has to be a two-way street. It's not a single way street. It's not a one-way street where there is always one person bombarding you with stuff. It's about you talking and then receiving feedback. It's about you also giving and then giving feedback to the other person. So it's a mutual thing. It's not about you always being the head of the class. It's about us sharing. It's the us. And when we look at our society nowadays, the way we are so much bombarded, every social media platform, even the younger people, the young like the old people, when they go on social media platforms, be it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, they're seeking for external validation. Everybody wants their post to be liked. Everyone wants comments. Everyone wants shares. Everyone wants more followers nowadays. It's great to have followers. It's great that we get likes, we get comments on our posts. But it shouldn't come to the extent where if we don't get those likes, we get upset. It has come to the extent where some people have actually committed suicide because they didn't get as many likes or as many followers when they made a post. So we see that there is an issue in our society, and it's very alarming because we see even among the young people, when they put up a post and then you see somebody's really sad, they say, my friends didn't like my post, my friends, no one commented. And it's a bit bothering, like, to know that we have reduced ourselves to likes and comments and shares. It's good if we get to share for people to be aware of something. But when you put up a picture of yourself and people do not comment and people do not like, and then you're getting really upset to the point of breaking certain friendships because they didn't like your post, there is an issue. So it's time for us to get out of that comparison phase and affirm ourselves and know ourselves for who we truly are, rather than reducing ourselves to the number of social media likes that we get, because there is a lot of negativity as well on social media. And sometimes some of the comments that we get on our posts are not necessarily what we would have expected, and this kind of breaks our heart. It sometimes causes anxiety in certain young people and low self-esteem. You see somebody who was a very happy human being all of a sudden they become so depressed. They start feeling like they're not good enough. They start feeling like I can't succeed, I can't make it, because of a social media post that they put up. So it's time that we look at ourselves from a different perspective. Who am I truly? Am I reducing myself to a single social media post? Am I reducing myself to a shoe that I bought in a shop with my own money and nobody has appreciated that shoe? So I am cutting out friends because they did not actually approve or appreciate my shoes? Or is it a hairdo that I recently did and no one noticed? So have we come to that, to like, have we reduced ourselves so cheap that we look at ourselves from the angle of material things? We realize that even our influencers nowadays, people who do brand sponsorships for us business people, they are constantly seeking external validation as well, because they want their followers to like, follow, share, comment, purchase the product. It's great from a business perspective, but then some social media influencers have also had meltdowns because they did not get as many likes or as many comments on their posts. But was social media really meant for just commenting, liking, and sharing, or did it come because because people needed a platform where they would actually, will I say, stoop so low to reduce themselves to likes, comments, and shares? Or did it come to help us connect with our families, to help us connect with friends, to help us connect with co-workers and many people that are outside our usual maybe scope? Maybe around your community you have family, friends that have traveled abroad, and you want to connect with them. Or do we really reduce ourselves to, I want more likes on my post, I'm going to block you if you don't like my post, I'm going to I'm going to stop talking with you if you don't like my post? We have to accept ourselves, because it's only when we accept ourselves and love ourselves the way we are that we'll be able to live more fulfilling lives. Those social media posts can maybe help us make sales from an influencer perspective or from a business person's perspective. But aside from that, we don't have to reduce ourselves to just um, seeking people to validate us. I know so many people that have gone into depression because they constantly want people to affirm them. They constantly want people to tell them that you're doing great. They want people to tell them that your shoes. They want them, like, they're constantly seeking for people to approve them. And when they don't get it, they close themselves. They just get in that shell where they don't want to associate with people anymore. And once you get to that phase, then depression kicks in, anxiety kicks in. And in the long run, we all know what the long run consequence would be. So we have to accept ourselves. And a few ways for us to practice self acceptance is to be kind to ourselves, especially in challenging moments. There will be times when things will be so tough. There will be times when you can't afford to purchase those shoes anymore. What will you do? Or you can't afford to live the luxurious life you were living. What will you do? So be kind to yourself. Do not reduce yourself to just material things. Acknowledge your feelings and support yourself the same way that you support a friend who is in need. If you have a friend who is going through a tough time, how would you support that friend? Start by supporting yourself that way, and this will help you to build your own self acceptance. Life has a way of throwing things at us. When you go through those tough times, what is your reaction? Do you take it in a positive way or in a negative way? So it's time to start showing yourself some love. Maybe because you're able to live that luxurious life today, it might not necessarily mean you'll be able to live it forever. So make use of it while you have it, but don't reduce yourself to those things. The second thing is to embrace your imperfections. That's one very, very crucial point for me this evening. And I think that if it should be the only thing that you should take away from this life tonight, I'll be very delighted. Because when we look at the way the trends, the way things are going, whether on social media or even when we look at the society at large, we see that so many people have look at themselves as not being worthy enough. So many people think of themselves as not being good enough. So many people just look at others as the perfect human being. But I always ask myself, is there a perfect human being? Or who sets the standards? That's the question I even ask, the most important question. Who sets the trends? Who sets the standards? Some of us do not like ourselves because maybe we are one or two sizes bigger than our best friends, or we are one or two sizes smaller than our best friends, or we can't afford the latest pair of shoes, or the latest earrings, or the latest whatever. While others look at themselves as not being enough, others go for cosmetic surgeries to adjust here and there, others just sink into depression because they can't afford to do those things. We are all imperfect in one way or the other. So embrace your flaws. Embrace your flaws. Love yourself the way you are. I can't emphasize more on this point. Love yourself as you are. Accept yourself as you are. Those who have joined my community, it's true the community is very dormant in the past year, they would know self acceptance is one of my key values. Accept yourself as you are and work on it. If you're two sizes bigger than what you want to be, start working out, engage in a workout routine, engage in healthy eating, join a community, join people who can encourage you, join people that can support you, people that can help you go the way. Because if you go for the quick route, I always say, if you go for the quick route, sooner or later, things might turn back again and then you're back to the same place where you were. So take a sustainable journey, something that you would constantly do. I'm a very lazy person when it comes to working out. So my favorite workout is walking. Decide to walk, maybe you can just walk 3 days a week. Rather than driving to the shop, why not walk to the shop? Or if you're a student, walk to the campus, walk to school. Or sacrifice 30 minutes every other day to do a workout routine at home. Or register with the gym. But what's that flaw that you think that you can't actually fight? So you have to embrace your imperfections, because that person that you're looking at as being the most perfect human being, that person you're admiring so much, they have so many imperfections. If you could just spend a single day with them, you'd realize that they are not as confident as you think they are. So it's about you looking at yourself and asking yourself, first of all, identify what your challenge is. Identify your challenge and then walk through it. Another thing to foster self acceptance would be to practice mindfulness. You can do this through meditation. I see a lot of people around here like yoga. You can do yoga, you can just practice deep breathing. There are so many exercises out there on YouTube in particular. If you just Google it, you'll find amazing workouts that you can do, and it will be like it would help you to bring yourself back to yourself. Just sit for a moment without thinking about anything, but just appreciating the moment and appreciating who you are, appreciating that you are alive in this moment, appreciating that you're able to eat, appreciating that you have clothing, that you live in a home. It's about being grateful, practicing gratitude. Shift your focus from being that person who is in need to being that person who is grateful for what they have. Because from the moment that you shift your focus, you're able to look at things in a very different way, and you realize that your life will not be the same again. Once you start being grateful for the things that you have, life is going to throw you more. But when you're unable to appreciate the little things that you have, I believe that life will even take the little that you have. So it's very important for you to look at yourself from the point that I am so blessed rather than I am so cursed. So be grateful for what you have. Journal your feelings. Journal your day. Like today I was feeling this way because this happened. And tomorrow you can keep going. The more you look at it, you realize the pattern, and then you say, oh, so I feel this way when this happens. So how can I counteract it? How can I change? What can I replace this feeling with? For instance, if spending too much time on social media, just scrolling through people's profiles, it makes you feel sad or angry or depressed, why not change it with something else? Rather than scrolling through Facebook all day, you can decide to start reading a book over the internet if you necessarily have to be on your phone, or you can decide to have physical books that you actually read, but find a way to change that narrative, to change the feeling which is negative, the feeling which you don't want anymore. Find a way to replace it with something positive. Because the more you keep scrolling through these profiles, oh, she has a beautiful shoe. I don't have one. I think I need one. And now reality kicks in. I don't have money to buy it. Then that depression starts to set in again. So how do you want to change that feeling if you keep doing the same thing that's causing that feeling? So you have to find a way to replace it rather than doing that thing that keeps you or keeps reminding you of what you don't want. Do something which you really want. If it's music that you love listening to, listen to music. You can even write music, compose lyrics yourself. But it's about finding a way to replace the feeling that you don't want anymore. Another thing is to identify your negative challenges, your negative thoughts. What are some of those thoughts that constantly come to your head and you feel like, where is this thought coming from? What can you replace it with? Maybe you constantly feel like, I always mess things up. Nothing works out for me. I'm not good enough. People are always better than me. I won't succeed at work. Like you're constantly looking at yourself and feeling like I'm not worthy. What can you replace that feeling with? And why in the first place? Identifying that feeling first, maybe it makes you feel sad, then ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Because once you're able to identify and then find the reason why, then it makes it much easier for you to replace it. But if you can't identify, it's because you're in that denial phase. You don't want to accept that I feel sad when this happens, or I feel angry when I see this, I feel angry when you do this. If you're unable to identify that pattern or identify that feeling, then it will be very, very difficult for you to change it. But once you're able to identify, know the reason why, then you can actually change it. Okay, I feel sad because, oh, going forward, I won't do dash because. So it's about finding what works for you. For instance, you could actually just maybe be mad of something for some reason, but you can't for the life of you place a reason why you're angry for that, because of that thing. If you think about it deeply, you'll realize that something must have triggered that anger. Maybe the thing you purchased did not actually suit you, or you purchased it to please someone, or like you if you just ask yourself questions, you realize that there's a reason why you are angry. And if you ask yourself, how can I change this anger to happiness? That's where you begin to accept yourself. That's how you begin to live better relationships, because now you know what makes you angry. Now you know how to maneuver when you're angry. Because I know what makes me angry, I try to avoid those things. Or if I can't avoid it, I know how to control myself. Because another thing is self control. If you're not able to control yourself, you constantly live in that phase where you want to please people. They ask you, can you do this for me? Though you're struggling with your own situation, with your own things around your life, you still say yes, whereas you can't, you know within yourself that you can't make it. So, self control, self acceptance is very important. Then, the final point I want us to look at this night is focusing on your personal growth. Engage in activities that nurture your personal growth and development. Maybe you want to start some new hobbies, you want to learn new skills. Set goals around this. If what's your hobby? Is your hobby reading? Is it cooking? Is it writing? Is it dancing? Do you want to set goals around how many times a week do I want to perfect this? Do I want to make it a business, or is it just for pleasure? Learning new skills. What skills do I want to learn? Which areas of my life do I want to improve in? Maybe I want to get better at a certain language. I want to improve my communication skills. I want to be better at reading. I want to improve my reading skills. I want to improve my music skills. I want to learn a new musical instrument. So, what skills do you want to learn? Because the more you learn, the more you know, it helps to boost your self confidence. And this gives you a sense of worth, rather than you always trying to say, I need someone to validate me. I need someone to approve of me. I need someone to tell me that what I'm doing is good, what I'm doing is great. I need someone to always appreciate me. It's time that we stop seeking people's approval, seeking people's appreciation, rather than us affirming ourselves and living a happy life. I would like to see some comments in the chat. I would like to see some interaction. Thank you so much for listening to me tonight. This is what I had to share with you. It's something that has been bothering me for a long time. So I thought I'll prepare something and share with my followers, share with my listeners, share with you, so that we all have a different way of looking at things. If we are wearing that pair of shoes because we want someone to appreciate us, then there's a problem. When you buy a shoe in the shop, you should be able to like it and be comfortable to walk in them, rather than wearing them and you're feeling so uncomfortable because you want someone to appreciate you. If you're going to do your hair cut, do something that you like, not something that people will appreciate, because you are the only person you live the rest of your life with. I actually love this very much. You are the only person you live the rest of your life with. So make the most of it. Do the things that you like. Do enjoy life, enjoy the process. Okay? Enjoy the process. Things might not always work out the way you want it. It's also okay. Enjoy the time that things worked out and work more. Where did I fail? What went wrong? Try to always reevaluate, analyze, and criticize the things that you have done yourself. And to some extent, seek other people's assistance, seek help, seek feedback. Because sometimes we are a little bit short-sighted when we are looking at things ourselves. But if we ask another person's opinion, we realize that we were failing in a few places. So get some people that you trust involved, but do not find yourself in that phase where you constantly want people to approve of you. You constantly want people to tell you that what you're doing is great. You must be able to know that what you're doing is great, and other people's thoughts will come as a bonus to you. Let it not come as the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Say, for instance, if I was doing this because I want gratification from people, then I may have stopped, because sometimes when I'm live, I get 12 people watching, I get 10 people watching, and other days I get 6 or 5 or 3 or 4. But if I was doing it because I want people to constantly appreciate what I'm doing, I'll just put an end to these lives already. But because I know the value I'm sending out, and I also know that though people are not watching me live, they'll come back on my page and watch it. Others will watch on YouTube and other social media channels where I share this on, and it's going to give them some value in some way or some form. It's going to edify them. That's what keeps me going, and also because I love the fact that I am sharing my knowledge. But if I was only about the likes, if I was only about the shares, the comments, so think about it this way: what am I doing to improve myself? What am I doing to get out of this situation? Because it's not only about the other person telling you what you're doing is great. It's about you having that moment with yourself and knowing what you want and then working on it. So thank you everyone for listening. I hope this was value added. For all those who joined me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, I truly appreciate your time. I value you, and I hope that you did get something from this session. Thank you so much. We value your feedback. I love to improve. I always ask you to give me feedback. It could be in the comment section, it could be sending me a personal message. I want to improve. I want to do better. I want to know what you want me to share next. So please do leave us a comment and make sure to share this with people that you know are struggling with external validation. I have given a very condensed form of it, but there is a lot that could be said about external validation. We as parents, we need to help encourage our children, especially our teenagers, around this area of their lives, because once peer pressure kicks in, our young people, they no longer focus on what their strengths are or what their abilities are, but they focus on what their friends are telling them. And sometimes we see very young people starting to self-harm, starting to have suicidal thoughts because their friends are not appreciating them, or because their friends are giving them negative comments, or because their friends don't want them in the circle just because maybe they don't have the latest pair of shoes that they're wearing or the latest whatever. So, parents, please do encourage your children. Have that moment of discussion with them, because once they are not able to tell you their true feeling, it means they're saying it to someone else. So be that person that your child comes to or your child runs to each time they're struggling. External validation is something that is not only among the young people, but among us, the adults, and even the older adults. Everyone is struggling with this. We always want approval. We always want people to appreciate us. But when it comes to that extent where if you're not appreciated, you feel bad, you feel depressed, you feel sad, then there is an issue. So find a way of living your authentic life. Those who know my brand Bezatelli, our brand slogan is be yourself, be authentic. Because we want to see more people living that happy life, living a free life, not a life where you're constantly, I want people to tell me, I want people, I want to be appreciated, I want, like we all want, but we want to be ourselves. We want people to love us for who we are. Thank you um, once more for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. I believe in our next live, we will continue with the keys to make 2024 a successful year. Signing out, it's myself, Annabelle Lola, founder of Bezatelli. Building Bridges is the platform on which you're watching this live. I created this platform to encourage women from around the world to connect together because I believe so much in women. I believe that when we work together, we are stronger together, and then we can make an impact. We can change the world. If you believe that you can change the world, please reach out to me. I have a project at heart, which is starting an NGO for people with disability back in Africa. If that's something that is of importance to you, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. We can all form a team and then execute that project together. This project consists of, first of all, starting out like a place where parents will come and meet and learn about what it is to raise a child with a disability. They won't only meet there to learn about what it is about raising children with disability, but they will also get the chance that those young people will be empowered. Be empowered, maybe they're struggling with their speech, they can have speech and language therapy, they can have therapists around to help them, and then they can also learn trades. They can also have apprenticeships that they learn, even they can learn skills which will help them to be employable in the next future. So if that's something that is dear to your heart as it is to me, please reach out to me and let's work together. Thank you so much once more for listening to me, and I'll see you in the next live. Bye bye.